yesterday I talked about that, how emotions don't last very long. Maybe 2 or 3 minutes, maybe 5 minutes tops. Because emotions are a physiological response to some kind of stressor, right? But what keeps them going on for so long is our reigniting of them through our thinking and our beliefs and our storylines. So if we don't do anything with an emotion, if we just leave it alone and stop ruminating on it, stop churning it over and over again, then it will dissipate in its own time. Right? So this is why there's such an emphasis, especially in beginner mindfulness classes, on the body. And why not? How can you disconnect the body from the mind? Right? I mean, at what point? It's not here. That's not where you disconnect it. Because your brain isn't your mind anyway, but your brain is still part of your body. Right? So it's a practice of synchronizing body and mind, not just trying to problem solve everything. And then if I just think about this long enough, then I'll figure it out. It's causing more problems. So with the body and mind, this is when we notice how stress feels in the body, we can catch stress sooner. Okay, and we can de-escalate sooner, and then we can make a better response or a more skillful action sooner. So for those of you familiar with evolutionary biology and such, we have these stressors and anxiety. We have these impulses that are they seem so commonplace because it's what helped our ancestors in this Saharan desert in Africa to survive, because it was that fear response that allowed them to run and flee from the saber-toothed tiger and to live another day, right? So that stress response of seeing a saber-toothed tiger freaking out and running is happening to us all the time in this busy 21st century world. But the only thing is, we see tigers where there aren't actually tigers. Right? It might be an email, it might be a bad look from a friend or something that will cause us to have this emotional response. I reheard this story. I heard it a long, long time ago, and I'm glad I reheard it. But there's this story of a man or person painting a tiger so realistically in a cave, painting a tiger. And as soon as they finished this beautiful painting of the tiger, they screamed and they said, "Ah, a tiger!" And they ran out of the cave. Because we see tigers where there aren't actually tigers. So worries, stressors, anxieties that maybe there's cause to worry about it, but oftentimes there isn't. Oftentimes the worry doesn't help. The stress doesn't help. That just gets in the way of acting more skillfully. So recent research has come out about, it's very promising, about the science of stress, in that the stress response is actually very similar to the embodied response that we have when we get excited. I think it activates the same part of the brain. So actually mindset is very important here, and I won't go at length at this, but there's a really good TED Talk by, spacing on her name. Anyway, she has a book called The Upside of Stress, like how to get good at stress. She has a really good TED Talk, and how her patients improve their lives just by changing their mindset around stress, and how stress, I got stressed about this class an hour and a half ago. But I realized, I'm actually excited about this. That's why I'm stressed. So instead of turning this into a negative thing, like, oh shit, I'm stressed again, dang it, why didn't I plan, all the reasons why, and just actually making my health worse physically, that's one road to go down. But the other road to go down is this is exciting, this is actually calling me to action. This is just like that person 50,000 years ago in sub-Saharan Africa. What happens when we get stressed? Typically, when we get in this fight or flight or freeze mode, our pupils dilate, And the reason for that is to let more light in so we can see more clearly. Blood rushes to our extremities to activate, in case we have to run, in case we have to act and do something. Digestion shuts off because we don't need, sexual libido shuts off because no time to have sex when you're stressed and getting chased or about to get hit by a bus or something. So those things are offline. The thinking mind is offline, the prefrontal cortex, that goes offline. So, but all these other parts of our body, what else happens? We start breathing more deeply to get more oxygen into our brain so we actually can think a bit more, not think, but react in a more skillful way. So actually, this stress response is actually having our body shift in a way that's actually calling us to action, to do something, as opposed to keeling over. So a simple but not easy, shift in how we frame this, like, oh yeah, this is my body getting ready. Like it's telling me that I can do this. I'm ready, that I can, get through it.